Testing, testing. Test 1, 2, 3. Is that volume too low? Test, 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 test. It's fine. Okay, let's pray to the bitrate gods. That it remains stable. And yeah, so today I want to... So I have this problem with the control scheme. Let me run the game. So if I'm using the Xbox controller and the D-pad controls the character, which is fine. I really like the immediacy of the inputs. Problem is, and I've been feeling this myself over several hours, your thumb gets really sore. And I mean, that's not a problem with the keyboard. So right now I have the Vim movement keys H, J, K, L bound to the same action. And that's totally fine. And I had a different scheme for the controller. Which I've been going back and forth on, which is pressing the left stick. Okay, right now it's... I don't know when I implemented that. So the left stick is basically mirroring the D-pad right now. But what I had and what I want again is pressing the D-pad, nothing happens. But if you press X, then the character moves. That's much more... that's the strain on your thumb is much less with this scheme. So the problem is that pressing the direction key and X for walking is really awkward on the keyboard. So do I have two different input schemes? Do I keep the immediate one on the keyboard and move to the more, what do you call that, secondary movement on the controller? Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this for months, but I have to finalize this pretty soon. Hopefully, maybe today. But yeah, it's just, I mean, on the PlayStation controllers, the D-pad movement is kind of okay. But if you move to the Xbox controllers, where you really have to press on the D-pad, that just becomes, yeah, actually painful in the end. So not quite sure. But let's add the press X to move back to the controller input. Let's check what's I have here. Did I do here? Okay, I already played around with this. So that's in the turn of the hero. And this is split in half. So if the... Oh yeah, that's the secondary action, like shooting a bow. If the circle button... And I all have this in PlayStation controls. If I hold the circle button and move the left analog stick, it shoots if it can. If you have a bow equipped or throwing dagger, and if the left analog stick has just been pressed or moved, not pressed but moved, or there's a key repeat action on the left analog stick, then walk. So this is what I was surprised by just a few moments ago. I just forgot that I had that. And this is for the D-pad. And the D-pad doubles as the keyboard directional inputs. So that's just the same thing, but with the D-pad. And what I want is more complicated. So yeah, all the actions in the game are done by just moving into objects. And well, this has really stumped me for months. The control scheme. Because I do really like... does this work? Nope. I do really like the simplicity of it. So I just move into this vase or barrel or what it is, and it breaks it. I move into this wall and I go through the door, move into these bushes, into the door, step onto the door, press interact, and it's closed. I move into the zombie and I hit it. What? Okay, this is... where are they coming from? And yeah, so it's almost playable with just one hand. Now obviously this limits interactability because you can only do one thing with an object. So I couldn't pick up this bush to the south here. What else can you do with the bush? Maybe that's a bad example. But with this stone, so right now the stone does nothing. Pushing and pulling may be added. I can do this with the secondary key. Basically, I could call it the action key. So shooting things obviously has to have some kind of modifier because I need the readying of the bow and then the direction to shoot in. So there is the right now it's the circle on the gamepad, which I hold down and then press the direction key. Right now I don't have a... Actually, let me just place a bow or some daggers. So if I equip the dagger and I hold circle and into a direction, I throw it. And I want to move, originally it was on the square button, and I want to move it back there because the circle button also serves as the wait function. So if I just press the circle button, you see the turn timer tick up, which might heal my character through just health regeneration. And that might be confusing. I mean, the fun thing about using the wait button as the action button is that you always have to wait a turn before throwing your knife. You are forced to. So that's kind of fun. But I can do that with the other button as well. And yeah, another problem I have is so right now I have start and select, like on the original Nintendo. Start is just an optional menu. Select is inventory and map. And I just remembered yesterday that in PlayStation there's no select button. There's just options and a stupid share button. So I will have to move this, the inventory screen back to the triangle button where it has been. So all the 4 buttons are then taken up again. And what I'm missing is an inspect mode, but I'm not even sure if I need that. Yeah, so maybe let's... So inventory, I can just say, okay, it's the triangle button. So that's done. Inventory back to triangle. Make controller use cross move with the circle modifier back to square. So I will move the circle modifier back. So that's square. Skip a turn with circle. And reset, okay. So that leaves just this. So I'm just trying out the left analog stick movement, but it's also really awkward. I mean, D-pad is just for this type of movement. I mean, you can move four directions. There are 4 buttons. It's just such a good match, but I mean, I can hold the button, and maybe I'm just playing the game wrong. But even then, you kind of have to press it hard. I wonder how it was on the Nintendo controllers. If the D-pads were this stiff. As to whether I'm uncomfortable. I think I'll have to defer this one. Okay, there's a trap here. This time I saw it, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll just really have to, because this control scheme is great. I really like this. Except for the fact that the D-pad sucks. And I mean, I can move much faster with the keyboard, but also means I can die much faster. Not sure. Maybe this is a non-problem. And I just don't have enough sample points, meaning feedback, because I'm the only one who played this game. So yeah, I know that the HJKL movement is most likely too arcane for most people. So I did add the directional keys up, down, left, right. But what's open is where I map the, so controller is a baseline. Keyboard is just emulating the controller. And if I control the game with the right hand on the on the directional keys. Maybe I should move the movement to WASD. I have WASD because that's also on the controller. The movement is done with the left hand. So it would be nice to mirror that on the keyboard. So WASD. For the D-pad, and then I have circle, which could be Q. X would be F or E. Triangle would be R. And that's it. And start would be escape or tab. So that makes the game controllable with just one hand. But that might be awkward. Yeah, I don't want to. You'd probably want to split the work between your hands to make it more fun. But WASD, and then maybe I can, well, on the controller it's all just the thumb on the buttons, but maybe right up, down, left, up, right, down, left for the to mirror the buttons. Oh, I can use the directional keys for the buttons. That would be kind of fun. But also confusing. Not quite sure. And I mean, if I swap hands, Oh, I can't play it with just one hand because I have a modifier key. So I need two hands. So as I said, right now it's HJKL to move, and the controller buttons are on ASDF. So it's pretty natural to lay your hands on the keyboard, so that's just touch typing. But it's also probably pretty awkward for most people. The thing is, I should probably add key rebinding options. So people can play just however they want on the keyboard. But yeah. That spider just missed me 2 times. That's pretty lucky. I have an arrow. Great. So I just 3 damage. Okay. Press D as the modifier key for throwing or shooting. Is this a dead end here? Oh, damn. Yeah, just because of the trap. So I very much like the controller input. And I think most of the people playing this game would want to use a controller, but maybe it's more like 50-50. I mean, it's 8 buttons. That's not much work to remap. So I could maybe, well, I could ship HJKL movement. But yeah, that's also just lazy. The thing with the directional keys on the keyboard is many keyboards have the directional keys in really awkward places. So the movement should be with WASD. which mirrors the left hand for the controller, which is good. But then where do I put the buttons? I could do M, comma, period, slash. I mean, what feels the best? Also, there's the numpad. But that's again just one hand. I could probably should make the modifier key, the action key. I should make it latching, so that you press it once. Now you're in the shooting mode, and then you press the direction. That would enable one-handed play. May actually be a good idea. I could have the same mode with a different color serve as a pushing and pulling things action. So shooting an arrow would maybe, would show red arrows around the player. Pushing and pulling would show blue arrows. Actually, not bad. How do I implement that? And what problem does it solve? I mean, it solves the one-handed play thing. Do I want that? I mean, there's nothing preventing me from implementing this later. The action button latching. And what this doesn't solve is the Vim movement being too arcane. So if I move the directional input to WASD, and the buttons, well, they should kind of be aligned like the controller. But that's pretty hard, except when I use the directional keys for cross, circle, triangle, and square. But directional keys on keyboards suck. I could place them all around WASD, but then the player is forced to always play with their left hand only. That's also bad. And actually, I think the movement input should be done with the right hand, because that's what you do all the time. And the other buttons are just pressed intermittently. So So that's even worse. It's not easy. So if I do the movement with the up, down, left, right keys, I mean, I can just mirror them. I think I even have that. Nope. But there it is. So up, down, right, left. Of course, down, right. I mean, this kind of works. Ugh. Okay, this doesn't feel good. At least on my keyboard. And because I'm used to the Vim movement. But it works. But I can see myself cramping up in my right hand. Yeah, 6 or 12. How are you doing? Doing good, how are you? Miss less of your streams. You're keeping tabs on the Sturgeon Heraldo. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Thanks. Yeah, I haven't streamed in quite a while, but I'm getting back into it. Yeah, I have 60 days until I release playable game in the, I mean, won't be complete by any means, but hopefully it'll be kind of fun before I improve on it. So yeah, I intend to stream most of those days. Linux and Windows target, yes. Yeah, so Windows, I did the porting, but I haven't run it on there since, but it should be fine. Because I just programmed on the gameplay and content side, so Windows should still just run fine, but I'll test that, of course. So yeah, while I was not streaming, I mostly cleaned up the code of the game. I tore out everything that I wasn't using. That was just speculative features that I added without a real reason. So it's much more bare bones now, but also more cohesive. And I'll go from here. And right now I'm testing the keyboard input, which I just moved onto the directional keys. Up, down, left, right, and from the HJKL Vim bindings. And it feels kind of weird, but I mean, it works. Bit of scope creep at first, I guess. I'm not even sure if it was scope creep, but it was. Should I describe it? It was much top-down thinking. It wasn't bottom-up. I wasn't adding features that were required by the gameplay. I was adding features that I thought would make a good game, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was really heady. Which is, I mean, that's how I found what I wanted. So it wasn't, the work wasn't wasted. So it did actually help me define what I want and what I don't want. And maybe it was even necessary, but it's quite a time-consuming way of defining what your game should be. So I'm pretty sure it's not the best way. Oh, nice. I found a rune. Oh yeah, and maybe the biggest change is that I removed the paths. So it's an open world game again. Because yeah, I just felt too constrained. It took the fun out of it for me. At least a little bit. Just thinking about the tube the player crawls through. It's just not that fun. And I had, when I started this whole thing, discovery was one of the big pillars that I wanted to have in the game, and yeah, that's if the game is linear, then that's. Would you implement stuff like multiplayer? Probably a lot of netcode to manage though. Multiplayer is extremely difficult, but not because of the netcode, but because of the turn-based nature of the game. So that would be quite an uphill battle. And I mean, maybe in the far future, but I'm not even sure if that would be fun. But yeah, multiplayer is insanely hard to implement. It's really crazy. And you should have your engine or your game code be shaped for multiplayer from the beginning, or else that's yeah, there are so many edge cases with multiplayer and so much. I mean, let alone thinking about. I did implement the Quake netcode for another project I did, and just thinking about what time means in when two entities act together, but both have different states. Both are at different places in time, and where you might have to roll back time to get to a better state. This really breaks your brain. Yeah, I understand. Really love the aesthetic of the game. Nice modern visual take on the old school SE style these genre of games go for. Thanks. Thanks, that means a lot. Yeah, I added these. I added the lines and the borders. While I was offline, and I think I mean, before there were just these tiles going right toward the edges, and it became really hard to tell where the elevation changes. So I added all these lines back in that I had at one point, and it really makes it easy to see what's going on. And these are placed procedurally, so I don't place these by hand, or otherwise I'd go insane. The color palette helps a lot as well. Thanks. Yeah, the color palette is also quite funny. I just took. Wait, what did I do? So this is actually the NES palette scheme. Those are not the NES palette colors, but they are arranged in the same order. And what I did was I just took impressionistic paintings that I liked and threw them in a palette generator, and then I concocted this, and it works surprisingly well for just stealing colors of 100-year-old paintings. Of course, I have some brightening and saturation post-processing in the fragment shader, just to bring them in line. So that they're not too dark or too dull. But yeah, that's how I got to these colors. Oh, interesting. The icons fonts you made yourself, right? Yes. So the this is the texture file. So that's everything that's in the game. It's just one texture. And I was inspired by the Pico 8 console. But I changed the font to have lowercase letters. It looks like the Stanley Cup at the bottom left. Yeah, this is a lock for the lockpick minigame that I had, but that's since gone. I'll add that back in maybe if I can think of a better one. But yeah, these are all the icons, and most of them are not used right now because I threw so much out of the game. But yeah. And as you can imagine, it's super easy painting these. I mean, it's hard to get them to resemble something that you can recognize, which is impossible most of the time. But editing these is super easy. Guessing they'll end up being used in the end. Maybe, yeah, sure. I just kept them around and I'll use them if I need them. And I always walk, ring +1. And I always walk into the traps. There may be too many of those. What are you going to do for music? I have some tracks. Let me turn this off. So I have this, which is that's just synth swells. I think you've got other music playing, by the way. You still hear music? Because yeah, that was the I was playing Barons from World of Warcraft. But this is I can hear the MP3 you were just playing. Yeah, that's what I meant. So this is what I did with my synthesizer and effects chain. And I think music will be kind of like this. Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's nothing special. But yeah, I think it fits. It kind of fits. And yeah, I have the... wait a second, let me show you. So that sound came from the Lyra 8 synth that I have. And yeah, that's how I intend to make the music. And yeah, I have, so that stream MP3 file has 5 songs, I think. And I added to my to-do list. What was it? How many do I need? Yeah, 5 more. Nice. I used to have an Akai Mini MP MK3 a good few years ago, which when I decided to work on my game, I'll probably shuffle through the attic to find. Akai Mini Mark 3. Is that a MIDI controller? MIDI keyboard, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I had a Akai MPC in the past. They're also pretty fun. So yeah, with the Lyra 8, it's a drone synth, and you can. Fun thing is it has an aux, so you can plug in any other music signal and pass it through its effect chain and generate drones that way. I'm kind of scared that the music that I done this way is a bit soulless, but I can always add a piano or something on top, so that's fine. I mean, the first step is to just have music in the first place, and also the soundscapes are, of course, the second part of that. So I'll have music coming in and going out occasionally, and then I'll have the soundscapes, just forest noises, mountain wind noises, playing constantly. So those two together will hopefully make a good sound bed, and then of course audio effects. And I'll tackle these in the coming weeks. Yeah. And I should do this sooner rather than later, so I can do some videos to promote the game. Because without audio, that's impossible. Or rather, I'll have to do it in post, and I'm not a video editing person. So that'll just be a huge pain. Nice. Yeah, more music would be nice to help get more of a feel for the game when it comes to the trailer. Yeah, totally. Especially since this game is so minimal, has such minimal graphics, the music has to carry quite a lot. But that's, I mean, the music and sound effects are super important in any game, or any film for that matter. So yeah. I'll give that a good amount of time. Yeah, you don't need something like German soul level music, I guess. I love Jeremy Soul's music, especially the older one. And I just can't I just can't create music good enough. For that, well, first of all, would get really annoying really quick, for me at least, if the music has had, if the music was very, very melodic. And okay, when I think of Jeremy Soul's music, I mostly think of Secret of Evermore, which is a constant loop. And since this game is pretty open-ended, that's just not working. Or it may work, but it's too daunting for me to try. Okay, there are definitely too many traps. Could I have the up, down, up, right, down, left keys? I'm really not sure. Indecisive. Tile. Gin. Place traps. Okay, let's make this 150. Brad Derrick did some nice music for The Elder Scrolls Online, Zura's Coast, Greenheart, Moons of Evening Star, or Jason Hayes, who did some of the WoW tracks. All right. I've never heard of those guys, but I'm sure I heard their music. Zura's Coast, Greenheart, Moons, and Evening Star are the songs by Brad Derrick. All right. I'll check them out. But I mean, truth is, I just have this one synth. I just have this one synthesizer, and whatever comes out of it gets lands in the game. At least for now. I mean, I can always go back and switch up the music a bit. 1 or 2 years down the road, but yeah. Procedurally add leafy tree on fields. Pine match black forest. Okay. Jason Hayes did the themes for Teldrassil and Elven Forest. Oh, okay. Quite a lot of those tunes can be stripped back. I still resonate the same feeling and sound. Means stripped back? You mean just condensing them to the melody, or what do you mean? But yeah, those songs, Jason Hayes songs, appears. I know them quite well. Yeah, condensed to melody. Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, Teldrassil and Elven Forest is heavily nostalgic. So that plays a huge role, I guess. And you just need, yeah, you could play that on the recorder and get the same feelings. But yeah, those are great songs, of course. Procedurally, yeah, let's do that. Let's add some leafy trees. Yeah, my childhood playlist on Spotify is full of Elder Scrolls pre Skyrim, wow, but pre Mists of Pandaria. My childhood playlist. Yeah, if I would to be make a childhood playlist, it would all be Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 music. But yeah, Morrowind, Skyrim, and WoW are of course in there as well. Don't replace. Where am I? Spawn monsters. Can need the very function. Okay, that's not here. Here. So field. Hello. Wasn't playing games from that era when I was born. So I was born in 89. So kind of different era of games for me. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I mean, everyone has these nostalgic songs. I mean, it's especially in the Super Nintendo era where the songs were just repeating all the time. They just get hammered into your brain for forever. But I mean, songs on the radio were also pretty repetitive. But yeah, these things, they stick with you. Okay, I need field. Case field. If it's a tree, make it an 8. Oh, come on. Mostly grew up with Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine. Yeah, I also played Return to Castle Wolfenstein a lot. Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine. I played that a lot as well. So we're not that far apart. Intro theme always gives me goosebumps. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. I played that. I played Return to Castle Wolfenstein in, well, I think during COVID. I played it from start to end. Again, I mean, I played it when I was younger. This statement may fall through. What are you talking about? Where am I? What? 367. My dad still to this day plays Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Only game he really plays. That's funny. So how are you handling entities? Got a simple ECS or just a fat struct kind of thing for entity? I got a fat struct. actually it's two structs. One for the static data and then one for the dynamic data, which is basically the entity. But that entity retains its original struct. So this entity OB is object. So the entity has its own components like this object index, which is just the type, but it has this struct in it that holds all the static data that is declared in just an array in the code. Where is it compiling now? Okay. Where's this is a field? Okay. So the trees are 8s now, except for these. That's annoying. I get you, probably quite memory efficient. I mean, I have, so when I jump into the game, this is the debug mode, and the blue circle is the entity map that moves with the player. So that's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's 64 by 64. Oh god, what is 64 times 64? Calc. So that's at most 4,000 entities in the game. So memory efficiency is not important. Everything in this blue circle is loaded, everything else is not. So I only load the error in chunks. I load as I go. So when the player moves, this blue circle, this blue square moves. Every entity that now falls outside the square gets freed, gets unloaded. Everything that was outside but is now in gets loaded. Similar to how Morrowind does it. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's streamed loading, but it's super bare bones. And I have, so although the world has these entity markers that just tell this loading algorithm, hey, here should be an entity, and then it creates the entity when it comes into the blue rectangle for the first time. So what that means is if you move 64 tiles to the right and 64 to the right and then back to the left, all the stuff respawns that you've killed. That kind of simple. So yeah, in the loading areas in chunks, it's rendered in chunks. So if I go out of the game, so this is another blue square that you can see here. This is one block, as I call it. And when the game starts, all these blocks in the world get tessellated and sent to the GPU. So I have all the terrain data on the GPU, when the game starts, and then I just render what's around the player. Those couple blocks that are around the player. But I don't tessellate them on the fly, which I could do, but it's just easier to just front load the work. And that's it. So yeah, it's actually pretty simple. Especially because all the tiles are just flat. There are no slopes, which really complicates the tessellation code. But yeah, these are just flat blocks. And this is wrong here. Okay. If it works, it works. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been through kind of a couple of systems. Just again because I didn't know what I needed and wanted. But I settled on this, and this has been stable for a long time now. How have you found using RCS for version control? Yeah, it just was available on OpenBSD. So I didn't. The thing is, I wanted to check in large binary files. So I wanted to use Subversion, but my Synology NAS updated itself and threw out the Subversion server. So I knew I didn't want to use Git because Git just sucks with large files, and in general it's pretty weird. Then I looked back in time beyond Subversion, found CVS, which is what OpenBSD is programmed on, but that needs a server and stuff. And then I found RCS, which is the predecessor of CVS, and it's just two executables that come with OpenBSD, and it doesn't even have a repository folder or other opaque stuff. It's just all transparent and pretty simple. So yeah, I just used that. And there are some quirks, but it works fine. Nice, I'm using SVN, but Git at my job. But as I already got a Hetzner server for IRC stuff, I've got my SVN set up there, but restricted through Tailscale. Okay. Yeah, I have, so my stuff is all on my NAS, network attached thing. That's not even connected to the internet. Because, yeah, they tend to update themselves and then break. And yeah. So I just push with rsync every night. And what is Tailscale? Is that a VPN or what is it? And as I've heard some really good things about RCS. Some people were talking about it on the OpenBSD IRC channel the other day. Oh, okay. I mean, RCS also does not do binary files. So my whole quest for binary file version control did not pan out in the end. So RCS is really only text files. But it's by far the simplest one of all the source control things. And yeah, I've had problems with RCS, but they were my fault, I believe. And I think it was, I think I had a file checked out on my laptop and then pulled a new state from my network storage, which overwrote the original checked in file, and now I had dangling changes. So it's, yeah, you can shoot yourself in the foot with RCS pretty well. Yeah, this is why I got under the hood. I have the CLI app on my server, the app on my MacBook, so I can only SSH into it through either the service IP or Tailscale. But I've set the UFW to block access in or out unless it's through Tailscale 0. Okay, and that's for security, or or is there another benefit? Okay. Yeah, I just stick offline, so that's my security. With my network storage, at least. Of course, I'm online right now. Yeah, so these trees are now leafy trees, but actually I might want them only in the Earth region. Where's the exit? Oh, come on. Still too many traps. Great. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like these trees here. And then in the forest, I'm actually not sure if I like these rock colors. It's funny, I always try to move fast when being chased by monsters, but it's turn-based, so that's actually a bad idea. Gotta head off for ice hockey. Good one, pal. Hopefully catch you live again. Have fun playing ice hockey. That sounds nice. Yeah, thanks for checking in. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be live the next couple of days. So, hope to see you again. Have a good one. Okay, the sun is getting to me. It's better. Okay. I don't have a darker green. Nope. I have a blue. Oh, okay, I can't save that. So that's also quite quite a bad to do, but go over all dungeons and add much more narrow vaulting corridors. Let's check this in. Tweak controller input. Game input. What? Oh, new revision. Oh wow, that's bad output. Okay. Wrong window. So yeah, the dungeons are I mean, yeah, they are pretty bad. The thing is, they are too open. Oh god. Where are they coming from? So, I mean, this is fine. And this is not fine. Is this... I think that's even outside the play area. Okay. So it's more of a diffuse feeling, but I think the dungeons feel too open. They don't feel dangerous enough. Not claustrophobic enough. But there's not much guiding principle in the whole world. So maybe it would be easier to work on that. Oh, there's a trap. I saw it. Oh. I mean, it's so figuring out what I want has been the hardest part. Somehow. And then figuring out the problems is, of course, even harder. I like these open spots that don't have walls. But I also like these tunnels. And I think of those I just have too little. I mean, here's one, here's one, here's one, and that's it. For this whole part, okay, there's one. Here's a bigger one. Small choke points, but there's never a winding path. It's always just an angle. And I think that's what's missing. Hmm. That doesn't even work. How do I do this? I mean, this works. Of course. Yeah, this is much more interesting. Problem is, this will take a huge amount of time. The question is this so bad? Is the dungeon layout so bad that I have to do this now? Oops. And actually, I think what's really missing is direction for the player. And I really should add a god mode. Can I? Because I want to walk through a dungeon from start to end. Where's the entrance? Hello? There it is. Oh, that's the exit. What? Oh, here it is. Okay, that's immediately bad. That doesn't help. Oh, come on. Okay, I can close this off. and tear down this wall. And this one as well. Okay. I mean, the main thing is not to stop and not to step on traps. Okay, there's a scorpion. Okay, this is immediately confusing, but okay. There's a way down here. Okay, and this is just a loop. Okay. This is the wrong color. Oh, there's a trap. That should go. Okay. Don't like this. Let's move this. Remove this. Okay, and this is already... Is this the... Oh, come on. Is this the boss already? No. Of course I step on the trap. Oh, this is a dead end. So those two dungeons aren't actually connected. That's fun. So what I want is... Oh, I really have to go through all of these. So this is a dead end, that's okay. But this right here should be closed. So this makes this another dead end, which is okay. And well, actually, maybe not. Let's just leave it open. And then, oh, come on, what am I doing? Okay, you come down here. You land here, you can go over this way, which is many dead ends. Well, the question is, do I want these dungeons to be completely linear? Maybe I want that. Maybe I actually want that. I'm pretty sure I want that. So do I make them all linear? Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the entrance? This one is, yeah, that's not in the game. This is neither. Okay, here's the entrance. Okay, I think I'll take a break and stream again tonight. Maybe, otherwise I'll think about this more and yeah, work on making the dungeons more linear. I mean, it's not completely the Skyrim model, but something like it. So yeah. All right, I'll catch you all later. Where's my OBS? Okay. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and all that if you want to.